In this video, we're now going to start working on how to handle this element once it is released. So for that, we can go to our code. In here, let's just close that. Let's create another hammer time listener. So here you can just copy this hammer time on. Here it's going to be panend, which means when the element is released or you stop dragging it. So here it's going to be function event semicolon there. Now in here, we're first going to reset the states, which means we're going to close all, swiping left, right, up, and down. So here, actually, just to make this quick, let's go up. Let's copy all this here in the X data. Copy that. Here, let's paste that. Here, we can hold Alt and then click there on this full colons here, put equal sign, and then go to the end, remove this comma, put semicolon. Alright. Now after doing that, after resetting the states here, now down here we're going to set the horizontal threshold and vertical. Alright, for this one, we'll create var, let's go on horizontal. Horizontal threshold is equals to 200. Here var vertical threshold is equals to 200. Alright. So this is just used to check how much the maximum scrolling of left or right or up we need in order to determine if a swipe is true or not. We'll understand this later as we code. So after that, let's set the velocity. Here you can say var velocity x threshold go to 0.5. Here you can say velocity y. This is just used to determine the speed at which the element is scrolled. Okay, if it is scrolled so fast to the left or right or up, then no matter if we release it or not, it's going to activate a swipe. If we scroll it so slow and then it is within the negative or positive 200, then I'm just going to return it to the original position. You're going to see how this works in action later. After that, now I'm going to determine if you're going to keep this element or not. So you var keep, so on the b equals to, first we're going to get the absolute value. Here math abs, we're going to get event dot delta x. If this is less than the horizontal, this one, horizontal threshold. So which means if I've scrolled 200 pixels left or right, then here I'm gonna say and here again math dot abs. Here we can say event dot velocity x is less than, you guessed it, this velocity x threshold. Just copy that to avoid any typos. Copy that, paste it there. Here I'm gonna say and, let's go to the next line actually. Here don't forget to put the and in the end, and then go to the next line here so we can just keep everything in one screen. You're gonna say math.abs, we're gonna get event delta y. If this is less than, you guessed it, vertical. Actually here make sure it's correct, put correctly here, vertical. This one vertical threshold, paste it there. After that say and, again math dot absolute, you can say event dot velocity y is less than this one, the velocity y threshold. Add a semicolon in the end. So now this value here, let me just explain this more. We're going to check for the speed and the value, if it is 200 or not. So here let me go actually in here just to show you how this one works in the browser. Here let's do console. How do you write this? Console log. Yeah, I always get confused. A console log, let's just repeat that, and then actually here let's say console log keep keep plus the keep, this value, right? And then in here down, we're gonna get the delta x, for example. Here, put that in the string plus that. Now let's go ahead and check. Let's refresh this, then let's open inspect so we can see in action how these values look like. Right, so now here, go to the console. Now check as I scroll to the left. If I let it go, you see keep is true. The delta x is negative 81. Let me refresh the page again. If I scroll to the right, see keep is true and the delta x is 96 to the right, like that. So if I let it go, that's when only this is going to actually be activated. But if I for example, let me refresh this and then let me throw this with the speed, just take this out like that. You see keep is false because I scrolled it so fast and the velocity is bigger than 0.5 pixels as I scroll. So let me go again. Let me just scroll to the right so fast. You see keep is false and the delta x is now 500, which means it's bigger than 200. Now here, watch, you can see delta x is 62, which means keep is true, and because it is so slow, keep is still true. So I hope this makes sense. And now let's work on what we're gonna do if we're gonna keep this element or not. Like because we wanna add a pullback feature if the keep is true. So let's go back. In here, we can just leave this for now. We just leave a space and a space. Down here, if keep is true, we're gonna do something else. We're gonna do something else. All right. So if keep is true, we're going to adjust the duration as needed. So here we're gonna say event dot target, getting the element being dragged. Let's edit the style and here transition is equals to transform 0.3 seconds. Here is in out, semicolon there. Down here again, let's say event dot target transform is equals to empty. Here make sure it's transition, a typo there. Here let's get the L style transform is equals to empty. Now after doing that, here we're gonna clear the transition. Here, let's use set timeout because here we're using 0.3, so just to match in order to avoid any flickering. Let's set timeout. Okay, set timeout function. Here I'm gonna say event dot target dot style transition is equals to empty, and then here we can say this one empty again. The L, copy that, paste it there. Then here, just add time to 300 milliseconds. All right, so here you can just say use same as duration. All right, now if we go, let's go find out what happens when we keep the element. Let's go, but let's refresh. So now I scroll this, I let it go. You see it goes back. It's working fine now, which means if I go again, I let it go, it's going back. If I scroll up, I let it go, it's going back. So which means it's working fine. The reason why this is going back is because we are within 200 value of left and right, but if I go beyond, you see it's not pulling back automatically. Let me refresh that. And here, if I go beyond, it's not pulling back automatically. Or if I increase the velocity, I say like this so fast, see, it's not pulling back. Yes, so this is working fine. Now let's just do one last thing. Let's handle it if the keep is false. So now in here, let's add a variable. We're gonna say move out width should be equals to document body client width. This one, move out width. Let's get another one. Let's say move out height. It's going to be the same document body.client. Right here, I'm gonna decide to push left or right or up. To push left, right, or up. Here is swipe right. So you're gonna say if the event delta x is greater than 20 when we release the element from being dragged. We're gonna check if it is greater than 20. Let's open those curly brackets. And here I'm going to say event dot target edit style transform. Make sure it's transform. Spell it correctly. And I say let's translate this. Translate here. Open bracket. Remove the close and add a plus. Move out width. This one. If it is scrolled to the right, the plus pixels. Make sure there's no space between this single quote and the pixel. Remove the space. Comma. There are 10 pixels. This is just the rotate. Let me explain what this move out width means. Is that if we're using the application, for example, on a big screen like a TV, so like right now, the purpose of this condition, the else, is to remove the element from the view. So we want to push the element to the, for example, this screen, want to push the element outside this screen. So this is just dynamic to make sure that whatever screen we are on, we'll be able to push the element outside that screen. That's why here we did not put a fixed value like 1000 pixels, because the screen I'm on currently might be less or bigger than 1000 pixels. So that's why it's dynamic like this. So here in the end, don't forget to, here inside, add a closing bracket, and outside add a semicolon. After that, we're just going to dispatch an event, a dispatch. You can call this one swipe right. And we're gonna deal with this event later, but now let's just add them. Here, else, if event delta x is less than -20, then which means it's in the left. Actually, here it's going to be the same kind of thing. So just copy this, paste it here, and then like we're going to change one thing. Since it's going to the left here, swipe left, here it's going to be negative. Then here also the event which is going to be dispatched should be swiped left. And here else if here the event dot delta y should be delta y is less than -50, and let's get the absolute value, math.abs. Here event dot delta x, this one, delta x, if it is less than 20, then it is swiped up. So here it's going to be event.target style transform equals to translate. Let's add an open bracket, 0 pixels in the x direction because we have swiped up. Want to push it up, not left or right. Comma, for the y, we're going to say, actually here the comma should be inside the string. Comma, outside the string, say plus, this one, move out height, get this one, for the client height. Paste it here, but it should be negative. For some reason, negative is up and positive is down. So here, plus, single quotes, pixels, close that bracket, outside put a semicolon. And here let's dispatch an event. Let's copy that. Here swiped up. Right, now after that, one last thing here is that we have to just do something. Let's just remove this element completely from this document. We can say event.target.remove this element, also l.remove, because we also want to remove the residue of the element that we dragged. So now hopefully there's no error. If I go there, now if I scroll right, and then I leave it there, it will come back to snap back up. It will also snap back. But if I scroll right, see the element is disappearing. And here like for example, they're disappearing like this. So it's working correctly. Now we're able to actually scroll left or right and actually remove the element, like scroll completely. So yeah. So before I actually close the video, let's go ahead and do a few things. Is that here, let's go to this one where there's X data. In here, let's create a for loop. So we can actually create, like, let's say 5 elements. Copy this end for outside there. And here we have the eye. So let's go to the image inside the element. Here in the background image. And here let's add hyphen this eye, so we can get different images for different cards. So here if I refresh and then I scroll, you see I'm scrolling, but the image behind is not showing because we added this, like before we added this gray background just to see our element that we are coding. So let's go back. In here, remove this gray background in this element. Where this insert and absolute, remove the gray background. Now if I refresh, now if I scroll, you can now see the image in the back. There's a woman there. You can see now it's working correctly. If I scroll fast, it's going to disappear. If I scroll here, like, nope, like. So I think that's it for this video, and you can actually download the files from the resources. So I'll see you guys in the next one.